Thank you, Lindsay. My name is Charisse, and I am with SweetShop and American Crafts, and I'm excited to teach this class today. We're going to be using SweetShop Fondant to make some fun cookies, using some gingerbread cookies. So if you've been here before, then you might know some of this stuff, but I'm going to go over a few basics of working with the fondant. So SweetShop Fondant is found at Michael's, of course. They have a variety of colors, which makes it really easy to just pick up the colors that you need and then get ready to use them. So I am going to show you. They come in these little tubs. Let's get started right away here. If you've ever worked with fondant before, you know that it's susceptible to the air. It starts to get hard if it sits out too much. So sometimes when you get one, they tend to be a little more firm. You just need to kind of work it through. A tip is if it does feel too hard at any point, you can pop it in the microwave for a few seconds, warm it up a little bit, and that makes it easier to work with. And I'm going to use, this is just a mixture of cornstarch and powdered sugar. You could use one or the other. I like to use a mixture of both. And this is what we're going to use just to help prevent it from sticking. So what we're going to do today is make some fun little outfits for gingerbread cookies. Gingerbread cookies are a pretty big staple at Christmas time. Everybody makes them, and they're typically, you'll see them decorated. Here's a cookie right here. You'll see them decorated with buttercream frosting or royal icing. But today we're going to show you how to decorate them using some fondant. So I'm just going to sprinkle some of this down on our surface here. You want to make sure that your surface is clean because fondant will pick up all of the little bumps or things if it's on the surface. I lift the hands for it. Okay, I've got this kneaded pretty well. What we're going to work on first, we have a cute one right here. I'll show you this cute little Santa. So what we're going to be doing is making little clothes out of fondant. This is a perfect activity to do with your kids. My 9-year-old loved when I was doing this because it's like playing with Play-Doh. That's what I think. Fondant is just like edible Play-Doh. So she loved helping me with this. And this would be perfect for any holiday party. You know, set out some fondant and some cookies and let people go to town. So what you want to do first is just roll this out. This really is super easy. Now you could use any cookies. You could make them yourself. You make them ahead of time. And if you do that, a tip that will make it a lot easier for you is to use, we're going to use the same cookie cutter that I made these cookies with. This is going to kind of be our template. Now, I know that not everybody wants to make their own gingerbread cookies. So if you buy some pre-made, then a tip would be to try to find a gingerbread cookie cutter that's similar shape and size. Or I would say to take your cookie and maybe use some parchment and trace it and make yourself like a template. That'll make making these clothes for the cookies a lot easier. So once we get this rolled out, how I'm going to start this essentially is just taking the cookie cutter and cutting out the exact shape. And then we will work with this. This just makes it a lot easier than trying to guess how it's going to fit on your cookie. Pull this back. So we're just going to use this. If you need to get stuck, just grab a bench scraper. If anybody has any questions at all, please feel free to ask at any time. You can let Lindsay know and she can let me know and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Does anybody have any questions so far?
We do have a question.
Okay.
Can you confirm what you meant with the mixture? Did you mean 50% cornstarch or 50% powdered sugar or a different combo?
Yes, that's what I do. I just do half and half. You really could do it any way that you want. And you could just use powdered sugar or you could use just cornstarch. You're just going to want to be careful on how much you're using if it's just cornstarch because you don't want people to be tasting that. I just found that like a 50-50 mixture works for me, but there's really no right or wrong answer. Either or however you want to combine them. Hopefully that answers your question. So what we have now, we just have this cut out. So we're just going to be making a little outfit. So the easiest thing from here, and I know a lot of people don't always have all of the fondant tools. Michael's has a nice kit. I think it's Celebrate It. There's a bunch of different kits of fondant tools, which you can use. They're great if you have them. If you don't stress out because you can use anything you have around home. I often use pizza cutter. You can use a knife. Anything that you have at home will work just fine. So if you don't have these tools, don't worry about that. So for this little Santa, we obviously do not need the head. So this is where you get to be creative, and you're just going to take this. This is your main, the main items here. So I'm just going to cut off the little ends here. Again, I'm just using this little fondant cutter, but you could use a knife. I'll show you with this one. You could also just use your pizza cutter. We're just going to start to shape the clothing. And then here is where, whoops, we're going to cut out the top, take off this head. And you want to remember when you're working with fondant, whatever fondant you're not using, to keep it covered in an airtight container so that it doesn't get hard while you're using it or waiting to use it. And this really is, it's so much fun, and there really is no right or wrong to this. It's just like playing with Play-Doh or clay, which I'm sure we have all done at some point in our life. So you can see that starting to take shape there. So now we're getting his little shirt. And I'm just going to cut here now. Cut off the little feet. And the same way that I'm doing this, you would do the same thing if you were going to make a shoe. You would do the same thing right here and use this part, and then it would just go on like that. So you can see how we're doing that. Are there any questions so far? Anything you want to see or know I can explain better? I know a lot of this is just watching. So I'm just going to shape these. Okay. Now, I've talked before in the past about ways that we can adhere fondant to itself and to cookies or whatever else you're working with the cake. Fondant, when it gets wet, you can use water to adhere it to itself. If it's a little bit sticky, you can stick stuff. You can also use piping gel or just frosting. So for this, I'm just gonna, I have some buttercream here in a bag, and I'm just gonna put some on here on my cookie, and then we'll put this on. And this might not be perfect, and this is where you get to just kind of shape it to your cookie. I also like to keep a little brush on hand. You get little spills like that. Okay. Any questions so far?
Sure, all good so far.
All right, perfect. Okay, so now we've got Santa's little outfit on him. Okay, now I'm going to get some of this excess, and we're going to work on the hat while we have the red out, and then we'll add all the fun details. Listen here. So for the hat, you could use the part that you cut off here to measure, but I just prefer to just kind of shape it on my own as I go. So let's just get this rolled out a little bit. These are perfect if you haven't seen them before. Rolling pins, this is a small, they come in, there's bigger sizes too, but they're perfect for fondant because they have these little elastics on the end that can adjust. So you roll out the same thickness every time. So I like to use those, but again, any rolling pin would work. So I just like to kind of place it here. Oh yeah, okay. And then we're just gonna cut off a little bit. Maybe I'll use this. And this is where you just get to play. It's like Play-Doh. Just kind of form the shape that you want to make his little hat. All right, we'll just leave that there. Now we're gonna add, let's find a white here. I just used white, and this really was really simple because I just got little pieces of the white fondant and I just kind of roll it into like a little rope and then just kind of eyeball it. And fondant is pretty forgiving, so you can stretch it or cut it off. So just kind of like that. This is pretty sticky right now, so it's sticking on its own. But again, you can attach it either little paintbrush with some water and paint that on first, or your buttercream or piping gel. I'm just gonna put this here. So
we
just
have
like that.
Few questions now.
Okay, shoot.
One is, how do the cookies taste with the fondant? Are they really, really sweet?
Yes, if you've never had fondant, it is pretty sugary and sweet. If you've had fondant on a cake, then you know it's not always everyone's favorite thing, but they come off really easily. So if you were doing this, I would suggest using buttercream underneath, because then you'd have some just buttercream frosting if people didn't want to eat all of the fondant. But yes, it does tend to be pretty sweet.
And the other question we have is, how long does fondant last once you open the container?
If you keep it in a sealed container when you're not using it, it can last for quite a while. Your biggest issue is going to be if it dries out. But as long as you keep it in an airtight container, then it lasts for quite a while. Okay, I'm just still adding these little pieces. What's fun with this, what I'm going to show you in a minute, is just not necessary, but an extra step to take it over the top is adding texture, because the fondant is just like a Play-Doh or a clay. You can add texture to it, and you can do this in a variety of ways. So for like on this cookie, because this is, the little fur trim around his suit to kind of give it that look, you can just use one of these needle tools, or even if you don't have that, one of these bamboo skewers. If you have one of those around home, that would work. Anything with a pointy little edge. And then I just go right in here and I just kind of go over the whole surface, and we're just going to give it some texture to kind of give it the appearance that it's like a fluffy, furry trim. I don't know how easy that is for you guys to see, but now obviously this isn't necessary, but it's just one of those fun little things, extra details to make it more fun. That's why this is like the perfect thing to do with your family or at a party. Everybody can have fun, use your imaginations, get creative. So just finish this up here. Get some texture. Oh, I got to do the hat too. And I kept this one pretty simple. Obviously, you could be as simple or as elaborate as you want with these. Well, here, same thing on this. Just gonna give it some texture. Okay, then for Santa's belt, Blackout. This was sort of very similar to how I did the trim. We're just going to kind of roll out, get some more, just over here, here we go. Roll out a little bit of a rope. See if I can get this. These are so little. Right. And then I'm just going to kind of pull it and stretch it until I get the shape that I want. Pull it along there, just like that. And then, because some of these things are so small, we have, SweetShop has these fun little pop-outs that make cutting out little things a lot easier. So I'm gonna pull these out. These ones we have here are some round ones and some square ones. I'm just gonna grab some yellow. Same thing, roll this out. And you're just gonna take the little pop out, and it's just like a cookie cutter. Press it on there, and then you have your little shape. And I'm just gonna stick a little bit of buttercream here on the back. Oops, stick into my finger. And then there we go. And there we have our little Santa, if we wanted to add the hat right on top there. Some buttercream. Add our hat, and there we go. Got your cute little gingerbread Santa. You can see that. Anybody have any questions on that?
We have a few questions.
Okay, perfect.
Can you bake the fondant with the gingerbread cookies, or should you use it after?
You need to use it after. If you bake it, it will melt. So it's definitely something that you want to do after. And
the other question we received is, can you brush something on them so you can put them on a Christmas tree?
You could. I think you could. Definitely, I would let these sit. If you let the fondant sit out for a day, at least a day, 24 hours just out in the air, it's going to get pretty hard. And then if you're not eating them, of course, then I would spray it with like a lacquer, just like a spray paint, and it should keep it good indefinitely. It's kind of like if you have ever made a salt dough ornament, those kinds of things. So yeah, let it harden first and then spray it, and you should be able to for sure use those for your Christmas tree. Does that answer your questions?
I think so.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm gonna just move on then with another one here. These are just some that we came up with, some cute, simple ideas. This one I really like. We're gonna do now this cute, just because it's very simple and easy. Just gonna make a cute little scarf. So you don't have to be a professional or have fancy tools. My cookie here. Now I'm not even rolling this one out. I'm just using a little bit of the powdered sugar cornstarch mixture on my fingers and just kind of shaping this how I want. You could do something, this is very simple one, just with one color, but you could get creative and add in stripes, use another color and make little stripes on it, do a pattern, all kinds of fun things. I'm gonna just show you how easy this one is. And for this, I really just put it on and I kind of twisted it over to give the illusion of a little knot there. And then we're just gonna cut this where I like it. And then you can, let's maybe this one, use a knife or something smaller and just cut like a fringe. I thought that was a cute little detail that was easy to do. Just like that. And again, if it kind of gets crazy, just go in and shape it how you like it. Okay. Again, with my buttercream, just going to add that on here. Stick my little scarf. And then we're going to use these pop-outs again. We have a tiny little circle one here. Let me clean this up. Let's see. Let's roll this out. Then use our handy little pop-out. There we go. And just make a cute little button. No, that one doesn't want to stick. Get some buttercream. Okay, and there you go. You could even do, using your needle tool, and make the little holes like a button. 4 little holes on top here. See if I can do that so you guys can see that. The same thing, you could add texture to this. Just with this, you could do lines, you could do a hatch pattern, any kind of thing like that to just add some more details if that's what you want, or you can leave it plain. Does anyone have any questions about this one? This one's super simple.
None
there
right
we go.
now.
Okay. You will move on to another one. This was my daughter's favorite because she loves to dance. And I thought it kind of reminded me the Nutcracker, little ballerina here. So I want to show you guys how to do that one. It's not as hard as it looks. Get those little ruffles. Let's put down some more stuff here. Got some pink fondant. I'm just going to roll this out, and we're going to use the cookie cutter again to give our basic shape to start with. Makes it a lot easier. So just roll this out. Cookie cutter, just put some, sometimes this gets sticky, so I'll just rub some of the powdered sugar on it. Cut that out. Sticking today. There we go. Okay. So we're going to take this now, and using a knife or a cookie cut or a, sorry, pizza cutter, whatever you have, we're just going to cut this. So on this one, you can't really see here, this one's gotten hard, but I cut out basically what almost looks like a leotard, or a, my daughter just says swimsuit shape. So we're going to cut off these legs. And then cut the arms and the neck. So we're just going to make her a little leotard here. Do we have any questions?
I think we are okay right now.
Okay.
But we do have a question on, so when we say that the fondant lasts for a while, is that days, weeks?
I've had mine, if it's stored properly, yeah, you could use it up for, it would be good for a couple of weeks. After that, it's not that it would be necessarily bad, but it would just start to be more stale. So you probably, it's not going to taste as great. Oh, this is really soft here, so it's just moving all over the place. See if I can get it back to the shape we want. But yeah, I probably wouldn't use it more than a month out, but yeah, a few weeks, you would be fine if it's stored in a good airtight container. Grab one of our cookies here so we can kind of shape this on here. All right. I always like to put it on and try it on, the cookie, before I stick it on with frosting or anything. Because this is where you can shape it or cut some off if you need to. I'm going to make these slightly shorter. All right. So you get the idea there. Her little leotard. And then we're going to use some more pink and make the skirt. For this, I just rolled out kind of like a long rectangle shape, and then we're just going to ruffle it to make the skirt. Start like this. Oops. And this part doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to roll it up. Wipe my hands off here a little bit. Just get some straight edges, just so you kind of have like a long rectangle like that. And then you're really just going to kind of go back and forth at the top and pleat it. Just back and forth like this. And we're going to check it here. This one's a little bit tall, so I'm just going to cut off some more there. And there you have her little skirt, her little tutu. And then on this one before, like I've done before, you can come in and make like a cute little detail around the neck, whatever you like there to add some more details if you want. You could add a bow, stuff like that. Anyone have questions on this one? Oops.
Not so far.
All right. So there's our little ballerina. Okay. I'm gonna work on another one here. Oh, another rag. This one I thought was really cute, little overalls. So same thing, we're gonna work with the cookie cutter first. Find us some blue. And we'll roll this out, get it smooth. So you can see these are really, really easy. It's just kind of the same process, no matter what you're making. If you're just doing pants, I would do the same thing here. You just cut it off there and make a pair of pants. Same thing for a shirt. So using the cookie cutter makes it a lot easier. If you, like I said, if you don't have it though, make yourself a little template and that will make it easier as well. Just give yourself a little guide. I'm just going to cut the shape now here of some overalls. So we're really just cutting off the arms and then the neck and the bottom of the pants. These gingerbread are kind of small, like you can see here. You obviously could make little Santa boots or something, or boots or shoes for any of these, depending on how much space you want to take up. These gingerbread cookies are kind of small, so there's not a lot of space, but you could fully dress the gingerbread men or just do a shirt or some pants, whatever works for you. And you really could combine this with decorating with some buttercream or royal icing as well. If you wanted to add little faces to them, then that would be fun. I just think this would be really fun for a holiday party to just see what people can come up with. Okay. Does anyone have any questions of any other like fondant questions I can maybe help you with?
We have a question of, can you make fondant at home?
You can. I actually have made, it's a marshmallow fondant, which is really easy to make. You can find tons of recipes online for that. I like it because it's not as sweet. It just uses marshmallows and powdered sugar. But yes, you for sure can make it at home. And there's a ton of recipes online you can find, and it is pretty easy to make. So, and you can flavor it. That is one thing you could do if you wanted to flavor it, make it a little more to your taste. Then you can add extract to it at home while you're making it. I'm not sure how that would work on a pre-made fondant like this. You could try it, but it might mess with the texture. So I'm not 100% positive. I've never tried to do it with a pre-made fondant, but you definitely could give it a try. All right, we've got this attached here. And on this guy, I just thought it would be fun. I made a little pocket. The same thing, roll it out. I'll use this to show you a different tool. I'm just gonna cut out a little pocket. Just like that. Our buttercream again. You really don't need very much. Add this cute little pocket. I didn't do it on this other one, but I think I'm going to grab this and make some buttons just to show you this little pop out again because it's fun. Find the right one here. Only tricky thing with these, they're so little. But okay, and just add those cute little buttons. You can do the same thing as before. On this one, like on overalls, there seems to be, lots of stitching if they're denim ones. So you can just go through here and do the same thing. The same thing on our buttons. Make the little holes. You could even add, like if you want to do like a little cuff was down here. You can obviously too. These are pretty basic, but you can mix, you could add a pattern to these with some other colors of fondant. It's just where you get to use your imagination and come up with fun stuff. That's why I think it would be so much fun to do at a party, just to see what everybody else comes up with. And there's no right or wrong. So there we go. We've got a little cute little overalls. And I want to make one more for you guys. Show you another technique. Whoops, we're losing this guy. This little sweater here. Let's see what we can find. Here we go. Let me move some of these out of the way. This one was fun because I wanted it to get, I don't know how well you can see the texture on that, but I kind of wanted it to look like a knit sweater. So I'm going to show you how I did that. Just to kind of give it the look of a chunky knit sweater. So same thing, we're going to start with, we probably don't need this much, start with our fondant and roll it out. And then we're going to use the cookie cutter. Need this again. This one's got a weird bubble in it. Do we have any questions, Lindsay?
No more questions right now, I think.
Okay. All right, here we go. Cut this out. All right, same thing. We're gonna go, I'm just gonna go straight across here because we're making a sweater. So we'll cut off the bottom. And we're gonna cut the arms. Shape this. Then for this, I used one of these fondant tools that I have, but you could do this with just the same kind of thing, like a needle tool like this, to get the texture on it. Let's cut this off and then.
Are there edible paints that you could use on the fondant?
Yes, there are. You could use any edible paint. You can actually even use, if you just have food dye, like a gel food dye, if you add a little bit of extract to it, you can make your own paint and you can just paint that right on with a paintbrush. And yeah, you could totally paint a design on here. That would be fun. But yes, any edible food quality or food grade paint would work. Or yeah, making your own. Okay, get this sweater shaped here for you guys. I'm gonna grab a cookie. Make sure this fits. Okay, and I have this little tool, where is it? This is just a fondant tool. There's different ones, they have different edges on them. This one's kind of pokey. And this is all I use. Now you can use this and cut all the way through the fondant, but I'm just using it ever so lightly on the top just to make the indents. And again, you don't have to have this tool. You could get the same effect with a knife. Might just take a little longer, cut these little slits, but I'm just trying to give it some texture. And like I said before, fondant is forgiving. So if you think you messed up, go ahead, roll it out, try again. It's kind of hard to completely mess it up. So we're just using this to get texture. And I kind of like to just go over it so it's not so intense. And you just get that little bit of texture on there. This one, I did the same kind of thing like I did on the Santa, just to add some extra, and made like cuffs at the bottom and on the sleeves. So you could do that. You could do it in a different color. That could be fun too, just to add a little more detail. So you can make these as detailed or as simple as you want. Just add this here, whoops. It's pretty warm here under these lights. So this fondant sticks pretty good to itself right now. Just adding those little details. And then same thing here, like before, add some more texture. This would be cute too. You could add stripes of another color. Just cut out little strips and add them onto the top. Make a striped sweater, any of those things. Okay. Add this here. Some more buttercream. Like you've seen me use this. This is just a bench scraper. Just sometimes if you're, especially when I'm putting a design on it, it gets stuck a little bit. This helps to just pick it up without damaging it too much. We just pop that on like that. We can make a few little buttons. Grab a color here. I kind of have found it's fun when we use fondant at my house, especially with my kids. They like to just find stuff in our kitchen to use to make shapes or designs. So it's kind of a fun thing to just see what you have at home and make some designs with it. Oops. Put these guys on. Buttons are my favorite little thing. I think they just add so much fun detail. And same thing, four little holes, make a cute little button. And we'll do one more thing, make a cute little hat, show you one more time how to do the hat, which is really easy. You could, I mean, you could add hair to these guys, whatever you want. This one again, if you just kind of use the top of your guy and just shape it out. I'm just gonna make it like a little beanie. Pretty easy. Like this. Add a trim. Let's make some texture on it. And we'll add a little trim at the bottom. Like that. And a little pom-pom on top. It's just as simple as that. And then he's got a cute little hat. See if I can pop it up. It's so soft. Okay. I'll add this one on. All right, there we go. It's got a cute little sweater, cute little beanie, ready to go. Does anybody have any other questions? I think that's all I have to show you today, unless you have any questions or anything you'd want me to answer for you.
We have a request to see all of the cookies close up. There we go.
Perfect, to see them all close. Yep, I can show you them again. So we have this little guy right here with the sweater. Then we have our cute little overalls. Here's the ones we made today. I guess I can show you these. You can see the little detail on there, just adds fun stuff. Then we've got a ballerina. Ooh, losing her dress. Didn't attach that one. And then the Santas. So you can see all those here, and there we go. You see all those? Do you have anything else that I can help you guys with? Any questions?
Looks like we don't have any more questions right now.
All right. I think that's really about it. Just remember, you know, it's just have fun with it. Fondant is just fun to play with and work with. And the more you use it and the more you mess around with it and try stuff out, the easier it becomes. A lot of people, I think, feel intimidated by it, but it's really not. If you ever played with Play-Doh or clay or anything as a kid, it's just very similar to that. And if it does start to set up, a few extra tips before we go. Just remember, if it starts to get hard while it's sitting out, pop it in the microwave for a few minutes, soften it back up, just knead it really well, and then you can use it again. And just when you're not using it, try to keep it in a airtight container, even wrapped up in some saran wrap will work. And then if you don't want these to get hard before you're going to eat them, then I would make sure that you put these cookies in and cover them as well. If you want them to get hard, then leave them out on your counter and the fondant will get. This one has been sitting out for a while now, and if you can hear that, it gets pretty hard. So they would be really cute to make for decorations on your Christmas tree. But yeah, for any of your parties, I even think these would be cute to decorate little gingerbread men like this and put them on a cake. That would add a fun element to a cake. You could do this on cookies, any of the, like add these guys to a sugar cookie. Lots of fun things that you can do with the fondant to serve for your holiday parties or to do for an activity for your party. So I think that's all today. If we don't have any other questions, I hope you guys get to give it a try and have fun with it.
Joining everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.